welcome to the Reluctant Speakers Club Expert Series. And coming up today, I'm going to talk about one of my very favorite topics, the topic of storytelling, telling a better story for you and for your business and for your expertise. And in particular today, I'm going to delve into the whole aspect of scenes and structure. And boy, do I have a guest for you, all the way from sunny Chicago, the very wonderful Rachael Mason. Now, Rachael is the head of advanced improv at Second City in Chicago. If you love improv comedy, incidentally, it is the place to go in Chicago. And she is a performer in The Boys and in other troupes. So listen in to our conversation earlier on.
Hi,
Rachael.
hello.
Great to see you.
You
here.
too.
Yeah. So tell me, what brought you to Ireland before we get into scenes?
My girlfriend Susan, who I perform with as The Boys, had been here last year and was coming over again and invited me to come and perform and teach workshops.
Oh, well, listen, I have been absolutely enthralled today. We've been talking about how to create an awesome scene and kicking a story off, which is oftentimes difficult for people. If you were to give people 2 or 3 thoughts about how to start to get a scene to kind of evolve, what would they be?
Well, there's an old saying in comedy that there's only 5 jokes, like reversal of expectation, heightening the story. There are only 5 jokes. But what makes them an infinite number of jokes is the fact that you are telling it. So we know a good story has a beginning, middle, and an end. We know it introduces characters. We know there's a turn, and we know it's resolved. But what makes a story the most interesting is the specifics the storyteller endows it with. That the specific storyteller is the only person in possession of those details.
Yeah.
And the more passionately they share those, the better the story is.
Absolutely. And if you were thinking about 2 or 3 things that you find really help you to kind of get a scene up and running, what would come to mind?
Initiating boldly. That means saying something you mean right off the bat.
Commit, yeah.
Being a character, because a character allows you to say things that you wouldn't. So you have permission now to elaborate on the story in a way that you might not. And then understanding that that a button may not come, that editing is a huge part of storytelling. When you're improvising, you may not see where it's going, but your scene partner is. When you're writing, you can go back and massage it to find the out, is what we call it. Theoretically, you've set up your thesis at the beginning, and all you have to do is sort of demonstrate it again at the end.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about improv is you have absolutely no idea where this story is going.
That's
so
right.
You just have to let fly.
Yes.
But people worry about getting things wrong. Of course, you can't really do that in improv. But what are the biggest mistakes you see that get in the way, obstacles I think might be the better word, that gets in the way of people kind of really creating a better story?
Well, I mean, in improv, it takes 2 to tango. So when one person dominates, we're sort of missing that other point of view. So I would say that active listening is the most crucial part of building a story together. The other thing, I think people misunderstand that improv just goes like this. It doesn't. It goes like this until it decides what it is and then closes off the other end. Like at some point we discover what it is and then need to play it out instead of continuing to make discoveries.
Yeah. So now you have become an improv expert over many years, starting in New York and Shakespeare and all of that, which is wonderful. What is the one thing that you know now that you wish you knew before about telling a better story?
That you can be just as smart and funny as you are engaging and thoughtful. I'll speak to Shakespeare. Shakespeare had to write 1 play to satisfy 2 audiences, the groundlings and the lords and ladies, and he was able to do it. 1 play that was just as smart and silly. And I found that like smart and silly really do live together, and I wish I'd known that as a young improviser who was just trying to be silly.
I love it, and that's a beautiful note on which to end. Can I thank you so much?
Yes, please, and thank you.
Thank you. And thank you also for watching the Expert Series. Until the next time, here's to awesome speaking.